Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. Ever find a penny on the ground and think, "Meh, just a penny, right?" Well, what if I told you that one of those ordinary looking pennies from 1969 with a tiny D under the date could be worth a jaw dropping $1.1 million? Yeah, I said it, $1 million for a single coin that you might have just tossed in your car's cup holder or fed to a vending machine that gave you Funyuns instead of chips. Yup. And today we're gonna dive deep into the story of the 1969 D. Lincoln penny that turned heads in the coin world and could possibly turn your piggy bank into a gold mine. Grab your coin jar, your magnifying glass, and maybe a snack. This is gonna be a fun one. Stick around, because by the end of this video you'll know exactly what makes this penny so valuable, how to spot one yourself, and why checking your change just might pay your rent for a year or 10. Picture it, 1969, the Beatles are still together. Bell bottoms are the height of fashion and everyone's watching. The moon landing on grainy black and white tea versus meanwhile over at the Denver Mint some pennies were being struck like any other day, and some of those Lincoln pennies ended up having a little something special about them. Now don't go grabbing every 1969 D penny just yet. Let me explain. The key here is not just the date and the D mint mark, it's what else might be happening on the coin that makes it insanely valuable. We're talking about doubling, specifically something called a double die, and no, I'm not talking about that time I dropped 2 dice at once during Monopoly and my brother accused me of cheating. I'm still salty about that, by the way. Anyway, a double die happens when the coin's die, the stamp that makes the design, is misaligned during production, so the coin ends up with a noticeable doubling effect, especially on the letters and numbers on the 1969 D penny. If you see strong doubling on the words Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and the date, you could be holding something incredibly rare. Now, here's the plot twist. Most double die pennies in 1969 were from the Philadelphia Mint, not Denver, which makes the 1969 D double die pennies even more special because they're scarcer than a teenager who willingly does chores. Only a handful of verified examples exist, and when they go up for auction, collectors go bananas. I'm talking full-on bidding wars like Black Friday for numismatists. One of these rare beauties sold for over $1.1 million at auction. So last year I was helping my and clean out her garage, and we found this dusty old coffee tin full of pennies, and I was like, jackpot, or at least maybe a pizza. She was gonna take it to the Coinstar machine, but I convinced her to let me sort through them first, because hey, you never know, right? I am going through stacks of brownish coppery coins, and boom, I find a 1969 D penny. Heart starts racing. I grab a magnifier and start looking like Sherlock Holmes checking for doubling. Spoiler alert, it wasn't the rare one, but it was a fun moment, and it got her interested in coin collecting. Now she's out there hunting rolls of coins like a pro, and she brags to her friends that she almost had $1 million penny. And honestly, that's the fun part of this hobby. It's not just about the money, it's the thrill of the hunt. Now, if you're wondering how to check if your 1969 D penny is the jackpot, let me break it down. First, look at the coin under a strong light, and if possible, use a 10x magnifier. Pay close attention to the words Liberty and In God We Trust. If the letters look like they're shadowed or doubled with sharp lines, that's what you're looking for. Also check the data, especially the 9s. They should show clear doubling, not just a blurry smear. And here's a little tip: don't confuse machine doubling, which is way more common and worthless, with true double dies. Machine doubling looks flatter and doesn't have the same bold separation. True doubling has depth and character, kind of like Morgan Freeman's voice. Now, if you think you found something special, don't clean it. I repeat, do not scrub that coin with toothpaste or anything abrasive. That's like washing a Picasso with a dish sponge. Take it to a professional coin dealer, or better yet, submit it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll give you the lowdown and maybe confirm that you're holding on to 6 figures in copper. Now, just for fun, let's talk about what you could do with $1.1 million. Buy a house, pay off debt, get a lifetime supply of tacos, or if you're me, buy more coins and annoy your spouse by turning the dining table into a sorting station. Seriously though, the coin market is wild, and there are more treasures out there waiting to be found. Coins like this 1969 D Lincoln penny are proof that even spare change can be life-changing. The humble penny that could make you a millionaire, hiding in plain sight, maybe even in your couch cushions. The 1969 D Lincoln penny is more than just pocket change. It's a little piece of history and possibly a golden ticket if you find the right one. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, do me a favor, smash that like button and hit subscribe, because we've got tons more videos coming your way on valuable coins, coin hunting tips, and stories from collectors just like you. Got a cool coin story or found something weird in your change? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear it, and who knows, maybe your story will be featured in a future video. And remember, keep your eyes on your change, because you never know when $1 million penny might be staring back at you. Hey folks, have you ever looked at a penny and thought, meh, just 1 cent, right? Well, hold on to your couch cushions, because that boring looking penny in your junk drawer might just be worth a jaw-dropping $12 million. Yep, that's right, I said $1.2 million for a single 1988 penny with no mint mark. That's not a typo, and no, I didn't hit my head this morning, unless I count running into the kitchen cabinet. Today we're diving into one of the most surprising coin stories out there. How A little copper coin from 1988 turned into a millionaire's dream, so if you've ever tossed pennies into a jar or ignored them on the ground, this video is your wake-up call. We're going full coin detective today, so every penny is supposed to have a little mint mark under the year indicating where it was made. D for Denver, S for San Francisco, P for Philly, but some 1988 pennies rolled off the press completely missing that mint mark, and that right there turned a regular OL coppery coin into a collector's fantasy. The 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny is rare because it was a mistake, a minting error that slipped through quality control like a ninja in the night. We're talking super limited quantities, and those are the magic words in the coin collecting world. Most of these pennies were made at the Philadelphia Mint, which usually leaves off the mint mark on purpose, but in this particular year a few coins were struck using the wrong design, a die intended for the Denver Mint, so it created this weird hybrid coin, a Philadelphia minted coin with a Denver-style design but no mint mark. It's like ordering a cheeseburger and getting a steak sandwich with no explanation. You just roll with it and maybe throw a party. Now you might be wondering what makes this particular coin worth over $1 million. Well, three things: rarity, condition, and collector demand. Fewer than a handful of these 1988 no mint mark transitional error pennies have been verified by top grading companies like PCGS and NGC, and that's out of billions of pennies that year. Imagine trying to find one 4-leaf clover in a field of grass the size of Texas. The $1,1988 penny wasn't just rare, it was pristine, like never been touched by human hands. Pristine, we're talking mint state 67 red. That's the collector's way of saying this penny is basically in coin heaven. Collector demand is the final piece of the puzzle. There are folks out there with big wallets and even bigger passion for coins. When word got out that this particular error coin existed, collectors went bananas. It was like Black Friday for coin nerds. Now, before you toss every coin you own into a Ziploc and head to the pawn shop, let me tell you a story. So I'm chilling at my grandma's place, right, and she has this old jar of coins she's kept since like the 70s. No joke, this jar is older than I am. I'm rummaging through it while she's baking cookies and I find this dirty beat up penny from 1988. I'm like, yo, this could be the one, so I pull out my phone. I'm zooming and squinting, turning it under the light like I'm in a CSI episode. No mint mark, hearts racing. I show it to my grandma, all hyped, and she goes, honey, that's probably just an old dirty penny, but if it's worth $1 million, maybe you can finally move out. Turns out it wasn't the $1 million one, but you better believe I looked through every penny in that jar like I was hunting buried treasure, and the cookies were my reward. So if I can go on a penny hunting adventure, you can too if you think you have a 1988 Lincoln penny. Here's what to look for. Number 1, check the date. Obviously 1988, not 1980, not 1998. We're looking for that magical 88. Number 2, check for the mint mark, or rather the lack of one. It should be missing completely. Number 3, check the FG initials on the reverse just to be sure it's the transitional design from the Denver Mint. Number 4, condition. The better the shape, the bigger the bucks. And number 5, get it graded. Don't try to sell it on your own unless you like lowball offers from dudes named Rick on Facebook Marketplace. Now let's take a quick coin nerd detour. Why are error coins like this so popular? Well, it's kinda like finding a factory sealed copy of an old video game or a misprinted baseball card. It's the weirdness, the flaw that makes it valuable. People want what's rare and what tells a story, and this penny tells one heck of a story. It's the classic underdog story. Small coin makes big waves, a mistake turns into a masterpiece. I mean, come on, that's movie material. 1, this penny weighs just 25 grams. That's less than a paper clip. 2, if you had 1,000,1988 pennies that weren't the rare one, they'd be worth just 10 grand and break your floor. 3, the guy who sold one of these rare pennies reportedly paid less than $1 to get it graded. Talk about ROI, return on insanity. If you're now officially obsessed and ready to start coin hunting, here are a few quick tips. Hit up garage sales, thrift stores, flea markets. People underestimate coins all the time. Always check your change. You'd be shocked how many valuable coins are still floating out there like forgotten treasure. Get a magnifying glass. It's like a coin collector's best friend next to patience. Join a coin club or online forums. You'll learn fast and maybe even make a few coin-loving buddies who won't roll their eyes when you say numismatics at parties. Alright friends, if you've made it this far, you are officially part of the Coin Squad, and remember, the next time someone hands you change, don't just stuff it in your pocket. Take a look, you might be holding a fortune in your hand. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more coin tips, strategies, and stories like this one. Smash the like button if you're gonna go digging through your penny jar after this video, and drop a comment if you've ever found a coin that made you do a double take. Who knows, maybe you'll be the next lucky one to find that 1988 no mint mark Lincoln penny and turn it into $1 million payday. Alright, let me ask you a question. What if I told you that one single ordinary looking penny, just a plain old copper coin from 1971 with no fancy mint mark, could be worth over $1.3 million today? Yep, you heard that right, $1.3 million. For a penny now, before you flip your couch cushions looking for coins or start shaking out your piggy bank, let me walk you through exactly what makes this little guy so special. And hey, don't worry, we're not diving into boring coin jargon here. This is the fun side of coin collecting with a little story, a little humor, and a whole lot of money talk. So sit back, grab the change jar, and let's see if you've got the $1,000,000 penny hiding in plain sight. First off, it's part of the good ol' Lincoln Memorial Penny series, you know, the one with Honest Abe chillin' on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Now here's where it gets juicy. Most of these were minted in Philadelphia, and coins from Philly didn't get a mint mark back then, so no mint mark doesn't mean fake or faulty, it just means it was born in the city of brotherly love. But here's the catch. Not every 1971 no mint mark penny is worth a fortune, so don't go listing yours on eBay for $1 million just yet. You see, the ultra valuable one we're talking about is a very specific error coin. This one had a wild ride during production. It was struck on a bronze planchet with an extremely sharp and double die obverse. Basically, Abe's face got a little extra love from the press and ended up looking slightly shadowed or doubled, especially around the date and letters. Now here's where it gets hilarious. Someone found one of these beauties in their junk drawer. True story. A guy named Steve was sorting through his granddad's old coin collection, which was basically a coffee can full of crusty coins, and there it was, a shiny little 1971 penny with a weird looking date. He thought, maybe it's just dirty, but turns out it was the real deal. That coin got sent to a professional grader, came back MS-67 with a double die, and boom, sold at auction for over $1.3 million. And the funniest part, he almost tossed it out because he thought it looked too weird. Now you might be wondering what to look for, so let me break it down for you like your best friend would while digging through a coin jar at 2 in the morning. Check the date on your 1971 penny, look real close at the numbers and the word Liberty. If it looks a little doubled like Abe's got a ghost following him, you might be onto something. Also, condition is everything. A beat up penny that's been through the washing machine 5 times won't get you $1 million, but a shiny, well preserved one, that's where the money's at. Now the market value today for this rare variety has hit over $1.3 million at high-grade auctions, and yeah, that number still sounds fake to me too, but it's very real. Collectors are willing to pay big money for rare error coins, especially ones from everyday years like 1971, because no one expects a common year to hold such a hidden gem. A couple years ago, I got into coin collecting because I was broke, bored, and stuck at home. I figured, hey, I like shiny things, why not see if my pennies are secretly treasure? So I grabbed this giant jar of coins I'd been tossing change into for years and spent 2 whole nights sorting through them. I didn't find $1 million coin that time, but I did find a 1972 double die penny worth about $250, which felt like hitting the jackpot for someone who usually finds lint and Canadian nickels. But the real when I learned how easy it is to miss something valuable hiding in plain sight. Now every time I get change at the grocery store, I do the old man thing. I flip every penny over before putting it in my pocket. My friends laugh until they realize I might be laughing all the way to the bank one day. That 1971 no mint mark Lincoln penny, it might just look like pocket change, but with the right error and the right condition, it could be worth over $1.3 million. That's enough to buy your dream car, a small house, or like 260,000 large pizzas if that's your thing. So the next time you get a handful of change, don't just toss it aside. Take a moment and check those pennies. You never know what treasure you're holding. And hey, if you like this kind of content where we turn everyday coins into potential gold mines, make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash that like, and drop a comment below with the weirdest coin you've ever found. Hey there, coin collectors and curious minds. Welcome back to the channel, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of valuable coins, coins that can make you a fortune if you find the right one at the right time. Now, today, I've got a story and a coin that'll blow your mind. If you're new here, buckle up because you're in for a wild ride. And if you've been around for a while, well, you know we're all about discovering those hidden treasures, so hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Alright, let's talk about something that might make you rethink the coins lying around in your change jar. Have you ever thought a coin as recent as 2019 could be worth a staggering $1.4 million? No, I'm not kidding, and I didn't just lose my mind over too many coffee breaks. Yes, you heard it right, a 2019 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Sounds too good to be true, right? But trust me, it's real, and I'm about to tell you why this particular penny is worth more than some of your entire coin collection. So, grab a snack and let's dive into this because, spoiler alert, there's a lot more to this penny than meets the eye. It's that copper-colored little circle of metal that most people toss around like it's worthless. I mean, we've all done it, right? Dropped it in the parking lot or let it get lost in the couch cushions, hoping it'll just disappear. But then, bam, there's this 2019 no mint mark penny that could be worth a cool $1.4 million. And let's be real, when was the last time you thought that about a penny? Now, the first thing you're probably asking is, why is this penny so valuable? Well, here's where it gets interesting. You see, most pennies are minted in a few different places. In fact, we've got the Philly Mint, the Denver Mint, and a couple of others, but the key thing here is that this particular 2019 penny has no mint mark. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, no mint mark? That's it, you need to understand why that's a big deal. You see, in most years, pennies have a mint mark to tell you where they came from. But in 2019, some pennies were struck without a mint mark by mistake. And let me tell you, coin collectors went absolutely nuts when they realized that this wasn't just an accident, it was a rare occurrence. And guess what? When things are rare, the price skyrockets. Suddenly, this little penny became like a golden ticket, but instead of chocolate, it was made of copper. And now, let's talk about the rarity. Imagine you're at a yard sale, just casually browsing through boxes of dusty old books and random knickknacks, and then you spot a box full of pennies from all kinds of years. Most of them are the usual ones, nothing special, but then, just buried under a pile of 1997s and 2005s, you find that 2019 no mint mark beauty. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, and I'm sure you can guess what happens next. You scoop it up, and now you've got yourself a $1.4 million coin. Let me tell you a little story to put things in perspective. A couple of years ago, I was at a coin show, just like I do every year, trying to find that one hidden gem. The place was packed, coin dealers, collectors, people flipping through old coin books, and I was just going through boxes of pennies when I heard a commotion. People were freaking out over some penny. Turns out, it was a 2019 no mint mark. One guy had a handful of them, and before I knew it, he was practically mobbed by collectors. It's the stuff of legends, people. And that's when it really hit me. People are willing to pay big money for something that was just a regular penny not too long ago. What makes this particular penny even more intriguing is that there were only a limited number of them produced, and they were mostly found in certain batches of the 2019 penny collection. Because the mint typically tries to correct errors, finding one of these pennies means you've got yourself a piece of history. It's kind of like finding out that one of your old toy cars is a rare model, and now it's worth more than your entire toy collection. You're sitting on a goldmine without even realizing it. Most of these pennies are still out there, floating around in circulation, hiding in plain sight. And that, my friends, is what makes this coin hunt so thrilling. You could have one of these $1 million pennies lying in your pocket right now, and you wouldn't even know it unless you've been paying attention to the right details. All it takes is a little knowledge and a little luck, and suddenly, you're in the driver's seat of a coin fortune. Alright, folks, you might still be processing all that information, and I know it's a lot to take in. But here's the deal, when it comes to valuable coins, you just never know what you've got until you start looking. A coin as small as a penny, something we often overlook, could be worth millions. So, the next time you reach for your change, remember that there could be a rare treasure just waiting for you to find it. And hey, if you found a 2019 no mint mark penny, or even a coin that's a bit out of the ordinary, don't just toss it aside, take a moment to check it out. It could be worth more than your favorite pair of sneakers. And who knows? You might be the one sitting on a small fortune. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth money. And don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss out on our next coin hunt. Trust me, you'll want to stay tuned, because you might just find yourself with a shiny new fortune in your hands. Hey, coin enthusiasts, I hope you're ready to dive into some serious coin talk, because today we're going to talk about a little penny that has a huge value, the 1979 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. No, this isn't a penny you'd normally find in your pocket change, and trust me, it's not just any old copper disc. We're talking about a coin worth $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. So, sit back, grab your magnifying glass, and let's take a journey to discover why this penny could be your ticket to a small fortune. Alright, let's set the scene. You're scrolling through your spare change one day, maybe about to grab a soda from a vending machine. You reach into your pocket, and bam, you pull out a 1979 penny. It looks pretty normal. Maybe a little worn down, but you think, hey, that's cool, it's an old penny. But what if, and stay with me here, what if this little copper coin is actually a hidden treasure? That's exactly what some lucky collectors found when they stumbled upon a 1979 no mint mark penny. And no, it's not like the pennies you find every day that are worth just a few cents. We're talking $1.50 million. Now, before you go raiding your couch cushions, let me break down the reason behind this big value. The 1979 penny is one of those coins where a small mistake, or in this case, a minting error, turned out to be a big deal. Here's what happened. The US Mint accidentally left out the mint mark on some of the 1979 pennies. Now, normally, each penny minted in the US has a little D for Denver or S for San Francisco to show where it was made. But a small batch from 1979 didn't get that mint mark, and that's what makes them so rare. Imagine you're at a garage sale. You see a stack of comic books from the 80s. They all look the same, but one comic book has a misprint, maybe the cover's a little off-center or the colors are wrong. The comic book collectors go nuts over that one, even though it looks like the rest. And guess what? That's exactly what happened with this penny. It was an accident, but an accidental goldmine one. Fortunately, no. These rare 1979 no mint mark pennies are extremely hard to find, and even harder to authenticate. If you find one, don't go taking it to the nearest coin dealer without getting it checked out. You'll want to have an expert confirm it's the real deal. Why? Because there are a lot of counterfeits out there, trying to cash in on the craze. So, if you find one, don't just sell it to the first person who offers you a couple $100. You could be sitting on a fortune. Last year, I was digging through my old coin jar, the one full of random pennies, nickels, and maybe a few old bills, and I found a penny from 1980. It wasn't exactly rare, but I thought, hey, it's worth a few cents more than face value, right? So, I showed it to my buddy, who's a coin collector. He looked at it and said, well, it's got a little wear on it. It's a decent coin, but you're not getting rich off it. That was a big moment for me because it taught me the value of checking your change. And not just looking for rare coins, but learning what makes a coin valuable. That penny from 1980 was nice, but it wasn't a game changer. But, with the 1979 no mint mark penny? That could be the one that changes your life. If you happen to find one of those rare pennies, well, you might just be holding on to your very own golden ticket. Here's the thing, there's no magical technique to instantly spot one. You need to pay attention. These rare coins typically don't stand out immediately. You've got to inspect them closely. One key factor to look for is, of course, the absence of a mint mark. If you've got a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe, give it a careful look and see if there's any sign of a mint mark. If it's missing, you've got a treasure on your hands. And as always, get it authenticated by an expert. So, to wrap it all up, if you ever find a 1979 no mint mark penny, do a little happy dance because you could be looking at a $1.5 million coin. The value of these pennies comes from that tiny mistake at the US Mint, which makes them super rare and highly desirable to collectors. And remember, if you find one, don't sell it to the first person who comes along. Get it checked out and authenticated. It's like finding a hidden gem in your pocket change. Before I sign off, I just want to say a huge thank you for watching. If you're into finding rare coins and learning about their value, then hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got more tips, tricks, and strategies on how to spot coins that could make you rich, from pennies to nickels and everything in between. You don't want to miss out on future content. And hey, maybe next time you dig through your change, you'll find a little treasure of your own. Hey there, coin collectors, treasure hunters, and I just found a penny under the couch people. Have you ever stared at a penny and thought, could this little thing actually be worth a fortune? Well, today I've got one for you that's going to blow your mind, the 2016 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Sounds like just another penny, right? But wait. This little copper nugget could be worth $1.6 million. Yeah, you heard that right. A penny. A freaking penny. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just find yourself looking at your spare change a whole lot differently. Let's dive in. Alright, so before we go all $1.6 million on this penny, let's take a step back. A penny is a penny, right? It's something you toss in your change jar and forget about. But what if I told you that some pennies, and this is the kicker, aren't just pennies? They're like the undercover agents of the coin world, hiding in plain sight, waiting to turn into gold, or at least, a lot of cash. Now, let's get to the 2016 no mint mark Lincoln penny, which, by the way, is one of the most surprisingly valuable pennies to hit the market in recent years. You probably know that every US coin has a mint mark on it. The mint mark tells us where the coin was made. But with the 2016 penny? It was supposed to have a mint mark, but it didn't, and that tiny little missing detail? That's what makes this penny insanely rare and worth around $1.60 million. Look, you might be thinking, but it's just a small spot. What's the big deal? Well, let me tell you, in the world of numismatics, yeah, that's the fancy word for coin collecting, don't be impressed, I had to Google it too, a missing mint mark makes a coin highly desirable. It's like finding an Easter egg in a video game, or like that time I found an extra chicken nugget in my fast food order. That kind of find changes everything. Now, the US Mint didn't officially recognize that a missing mint mark was an error. So, this penny has become a collector's dream. People search high and low to get their hands on one, and those that do are often rewarded with big bucks. And when I say big bucks, I mean millions. So how can you tell if your 2016 penny is the one worth the big money? Well, it's pretty simple. You'll want to check for two things. First, make sure the penny is from 2016, yeah, no cheating with a 2017 penny or something. Look closely. Second, no mint mark. If there's no D for Denver or P for Philadelphia on the front near the year, then congratulations. You might have a gold mine sitting in your coin jar. Or maybe not. Don't get too excited yet, let's talk about condition. The condition of your penny matters too. If it's been through the wash, had a few run-ins with your kitchen sink, or looks like it was used to play basketball, it's probably not worth the big bucks. The more pristine it is, the higher its value. Ideally, you want it to look close to mint condition, and that's going to take it into that $1.6 million range. If it's a little worn, the value could still be decent, but you might not be calling up your private jet service just yet. And hey, don't just go throwing all your pennies in the trash just because they're scratched. You could be sitting on a gold mine, but don't get carried away. The coin world is full of myths and rumors, so always double check your facts before you go around calling your pennies rich. So, funny story, I remember when I first got into coin collecting. It all started with this one random penny I found in the parking lot of my local grocery store. I thought, hey, it's a 1944 penny. That's gotta be worth something, right? I took it to a dealer, and guess what? It wasn't. But the lesson I learned? Every penny counts. Literally. Some of those coins that you think are worth nothing could be the next big find, kind of like how this 2016 no mint mark penny surprised everyone. You just never know, right? So, there you have it. The 2016 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a small coin that's packing a huge punch. It may look like just another penny, but with the missing mint mark and a bit of good luck, it could be worth $1.6 million. And who knows? That change in your pocket right now might be your ticket to your own personal treasure hunt. If you're into finding rare coins, flipping them for cash, or just love learning about all the weird and wonderful ways to get rich off coins, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because there's always more coming your way. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. Who knows? The next $1 million coin I talk about might be hiding in your couch cushions. Hey, what's up everyone? If you've ever dug through a jar of pennies, hoping to find a hidden gem worth millions, then trust me, you're not alone. But what if I told you that one specific penny from 2008 is out there, quietly sitting in your pocket, potentially worth a mind-blowing $1.70 million? Yeah, you heard me right. This isn't some fairy tale or a coin collector's dream, it's the real deal. And today, I'm about to tell you everything you need to know about the 2008 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin so valuable it could buy you a house, or, a really nice vacation. So grab a snack, settle in, and let's get into it. Well, before we get into its insane value, let me break it down for you, because, like me, you might be wondering, how in the world could a penny be worth that much money? Let's start with the basics. Pennies are supposed to be, well, pennies, cheap, tiny, almost worthless. They're the coins we toss into jars at the back of the drawer or use to prop open a door. You know, the ones you forget about. But every once in a while, there's that one coin that makes you rethink the entire idea of small change. And now, the 2008 no mint mark Lincoln penny is one of those whoa, hold up moments. You see, normally, coins have a mint mark. If it's a D, you know it was minted in Denver. If it's an S, that penny came from San Francisco. But the 2008 no mint mark penny? It's like the rock star of coins, showing up without a label and leaving us all wondering what happened. Here's the twist. this penny was produced in Philadelphia, but for some weird reason, they decided to leave the mint mark off. And that tiny detail, the lack of a mint mark, has turned this penny into something highly collectible and incredibly rare. Well, let me tell you, it is a big deal. There's something about scarcity and rarity that makes collectors go absolutely wild, like when you find that last slice of pizza in the fridge and fight your family for it. That's exactly what's happening with this penny right now. It's the pizza everyone wants, but there's only a small slice left, and trust me, I know a thing or two about fighting over food. I once tried to save a piece of cake for myself, only for my cat to eat it. I mean, who does that, right? But just like my cat's food thievery, these pennies are in high demand. And just like that cake I'll never get back, the value of the 2008 no mint mark penny has only gone up. The market value of these pennies has been steadily increasing, with the highest recorded sale reaching an astonishing $1.7 million. That's right, one penny for $1.7 million. You could probably retire after selling that penny, but of course, if you've got it, you're going to want to hold on to it because its value could continue to grow. Not every 2008 penny without a mint mark is worth a fortune. For it to be valuable, it has to meet certain conditions. It needs to be in perfect condition, with no major wear or damage. You're looking for a coin that's practically as pristine as the day it was minted. That's why people are shelling out big bucks for these little guys. It's not just about the missing mint mark, it's about the rarity and quality of the coin. Well, good news. They're out there. If you've got a 2008 penny in your collection, it's definitely worth checking for that mint mark or lack of it. But keep in mind, the ones that are in mint condition, those are the ones fetching the big bucks, and honestly, if you're lucky enough to find one, you might want to get it checked by a professional. Coin grading is a whole world of its own, and trust me, you want to make sure you're not sitting on $1 million coin and not even know it. Speaking of finding treasure, I actually had a similar experience a few years ago. I was at a flea market, just casually browsing through some old coins. I wasn't expecting much, just looking for something cool to add to my collection. But then, I found this 1955 double-die Lincoln penny. It was tucked away in a bargain bin, probably because no one knew what it was worth. I got it for just a few bucks, and when I later had it appraised, turns out it was worth thousands. Needless to say, I felt like I had just discovered buried treasure, and I couldn't believe my luck. So, trust me, sometimes those pennies you think are nothing might be worth more than you ever imagined. So, there you have it. The 2008 no mint mark Lincoln penny is a true gem in the world of coin collecting. It's got rarity, it's got value, and it's definitely got the potential to make you some serious cash if you find one in mint condition. Coin collecting is all about paying attention to the details. It's about knowing what to look for, and more importantly, it's about the thrill of the hunt. If you're not already checking your spare change or digging through those old coin jars, now's the time to start. Who knows? You could be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. Before I let you go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on more tips and tricks about coins worth money. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on the next hidden treasure we uncover. And if you've got any crazy coin finds or funny stories about your own search for valuable coins, drop them in the comments below. I love hearing from you. Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Alright, let's kick things off with a quick question. Have you ever picked up a penny from the ground and thought, what if this little guy is worth a fortune? Well, I'm here to tell you, sometimes it's not just a penny, it could be worth more than your old car. Okay, maybe not quite that much, but stick with me here. Today, we're talking about a very special penny, the 2000 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Hold on to your seats, because this little coin could be worth $1.8 million. Yes, you heard me right. A penny. $1.8 million. Now, that's a lot of change, isn't it? Let's dive into why this penny is so valuable, what makes it stand out, and how you can potentially cash in on your own hidden treasure. I mean, we're talking about a coin that most people would look at, shrug, and toss into the nearest jar of spare change. Definitely not something you take to the bank with dreams of a fortune, right? Well, in this case, it's all about the mint mark, or rather, the lack of it. Normally, coins are stamped with a mint mark that tells you where they were produced. The mint marks for pennies in the US are usually either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But the 2000 no mint mark penny? Nothing. Zilch. Nada. It's like the coin is trying to tell you, I don't need no stinkin' mint mark, I'm already a legend. Well, that's because it's considered a mintage error. See, in 2000, some pennies were accidentally struck without the mint mark, which is super rare. It's like finding a unicorn, but instead of hooves and a magical horn, you've got a penny that could make you rich. Imagine this: you're walking down the street, and you spot a penny. You bend down to grab it, but you almost miss it because, well, it's just a penny. But what if, just what if, this was one of those rare, no mint mark beauties? Now, I know, not every penny you find is going to be worth $1 million, but it's a fun thought, right? And honestly, it's moments like this that make collecting coins so exciting. It's like a treasure hunt every time you open your wallet or sift through your change jar. Okay, back to business. So, why does this penny specifically hold such value? Well, the key here is scarcity. There were only a small number of these 2000 no mint mark pennies produced, and over the years, they've become an elusive find. The rarity of these coins has driven their value up, and as more people realize just how much these little guys are worth, they start paying more attention to their change. Imagine all the pennies you've tossed aside over the years without a second thought. Some of those could have been gold mines, or should I say, pennies worth millions. Speaking of missed opportunities, let me share a funny story with you. A few years ago, I was going through a box of old coins my grandma gave me. She had this huge collection of change, from foreign coins to American pennies. Some of them, honestly, looked like they had been through a war. But there I was, sifting through this dusty pile of forgotten pennies when, out of the corner of my eye, I noticed one coin that looked a little too shiny for its age. I picked it up, examined it carefully, and realized it was a 1955 double die error penny. I mean, in that moment, my heart raced. I thought, this is it. I've hit the jackpot. Well, long story short, I took it to a professional, and it wasn't quite the gold mine I had imagined. But that's what coin collecting is all about, finding that rare gem among the sea of everyday change. So now, every time I find a penny, I don't just toss it in my pocket. I stop, look it over, and really inspect it. You never know when you might strike it rich. Alright, let's wrap this up. The 2000 no mint mark Lincoln penny is one of those coins that shows you just how valuable even the smallest things can be. It's a rare find, and if you happen to come across one in your spare change, you could be looking at a piece of history and potentially a fortune. If you want to start hunting for rare coins or learn more about how to spot a valuable penny, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on more tips and tricks about coins worth money. Who knows, the next penny you find could be the one that changes your life. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy hunting, and remember, check your change, because sometimes, the real treasure is closer than you think. Hey there, coin collectors, treasure hunters, or just folks who love a good couch cushion mystery. 1 penny 1 cent. A tiny copper coin that most people toss in a jar and forget about is now worth more than a Ferrari and a 5-bedroom house combined. I am talking about the 2009 D. Lincoln Memorial Penny Formative Years Edition. Yep, the one where Abe Lincoln is chillin' on a log with a book in his hand looking like he's about to invent the internet, and no mint mark, no fancy design or rare gem stuck in. It's just a normal penny with a wild value of $1.8 million. That's right folks, $1.8 million for a coin you might have in your junk drawer or under the seat of your car right now. So grab your coffee or your energy drink or whatever fuels your coin collecting curiosity and stick around, because we're about to dive deep into the story behind this little copper legend, the reasons it's so valuable, how you can spot one, and, of course, my own hilarious and slightly embarrassing story of how I almost gave mine away at a gas station for a pack of gum. Now, if you remember, 2009 was a strange time. The world was still reeling from the financial crisis. Everyone was suddenly obsessed with vampires, and the iPhone was just starting to take over our lives. Meanwhile, the US Mint decided it was time to spice things up a bit and honor Abraham Lincoln's 200th birthday, so they released 4 special pennies that year, all showing different stages of Abe's life. There was the birth and early childhood design, the formative years design, the professional life design, and the presidency design. Today we're zooming in on the formative years one because that's where the magic happens. That's the one with Lincoln sitting on a log in Indiana reading a book while holding a tool. He's got a little smirk on his face like he just read a really funny joke about Congress. This design was meant to show Lincoln's youth, how he taught himself while working hard and growing up in Indiana. It's a feel-good Slice of American history with a side of good ol' bootstrapping spirit. Now the 2009 D version, the one minted in Denver, is usually not worth more than face value unless something went very interestingly wrong during the minting process. Some of these 2009 D formative years pennies were struck with strange doubling on Lincoln's fingers or hand or even his book. Others had off-center strikes or weird die breaks. That made them totally unique, and you know how the collector world goes. Anything that's rare, unusual, or even a little off tends to skyrocket in value, especially if it's tied to something as iconic as Abraham Lincoln. One particular 2009 D formative years penny was found with such a bizarre and perfect combination of minting errors it was labeled as one of a kind. Literally no other coin like it, and that baby sold in a private auction for $1.8 million. Imagine that, a coin worth less than a gumball that turns out to be worth more than most folks make in their lifetime. Okay, cool, but how do I know if I've got the $1 million penny? First, make sure it's the 2009 formative years design. Lincoln on a log holding a book. That's your starting point. Now for the fun part, grab a magnifying glass or use the zoom on your phone camera and check Lincoln's fingers, his book, and any part of the coin that looks a little wonky. If there's doubling or an obvious mistake, it might be an error coin. Also look at the overall color and condition. If it's still shiny and has barely been touched, that increases the value too. But remember, the one that hit 1.8 million was an extremely rare combination of multiple errors in pristine condition, plus it had solid authentication and grading, which is a whole process we'll touch on in a minute. So back in 2012 I was broke, like scraping the change from the car floor. Broke. I stopped by a gas station to grab a bag of chips and I was short by like 5 cents, so I grabbed a few pennies from my cup holder and handed them to the cashier. Fast forward 3 years, I'm scrolling through a coin collecting forum for no reason other than boredom, and I see a picture of a 2009 D Lincoln formative years penny that looks oddly familiar. Same weird strike, same scratch under the log, same everything. Why, all I swear on my snack stash I had that coin. I gave it away for a pack of off-brand barbecue chips that weren't even that good. Do I live in fear and regret daily? Also no, but let's just say I check every single penny now with the intensity of a detective on a crime show. Now back to grading and authentication. If you think you've got a valuable coin, your first step is to avoid cleaning it. Seriously, don't even wipe it off on your shirt. Let it be dusty, crusty, and original. Next, take it to a professional coin dealer or grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll inspect it, authenticate it, and give it a grade from 1 to 70. A high grade on a rare error coin, that's when you start seeing the big money offers. And even if yours isn't the $1.8 million coin, some of these 2009 D pennies still sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the condition and the era. That Abraham Lincoln was not only one of our greatest presidents but also a quiet badass on a log, and that every time you hand over a penny without checking it first you might be giving away a piece of treasure. But hey, now you're armed with knowledge and a funny story to tell. At parties you've got the tools to dig into your spare change and maybe, just maybe, find the next $1 million penny. And who knows, the next time you stop for gas and dig into your cup holder you might just strike copper gold. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that subscribe button like it owes you money. Hit the bell so you don't miss future videos where we uncover more coins that could change your life. And drop a comment if you've got a rare penny story of your own, because here we're not just collecting coins, we're collecting legends.